All right, guys, in this video, I'm going to show you the single fastest way to increase your Etsy sales right now. And once you get in the habit of doing this, it's going to be extremely hard to stop because you're going to get immediate positive feedback every single time you do this intentionally. Even if you're an Etsy seller that doesn't want to do this, if you opt out of doing this, that's okay. You just have to know that you're really not setting your shop up for the best case scenario. And you might even be able to still make sales without doing this. But like I said, if you're trying to build a business for the long play and get consistent daily regular sales, replace your full-time income, you can't really avoid it. You have to do this in order to compete. All right, so how exactly do you do this? I want you to think of your Etsy listings as a filtration system. And let's pretend that for every 100 listings that you put in at start, only 1 to 10 actually make daily regular sales. Now, it's for us as Etsy sellers, the way that we turn 10 out of 100 into 20 or 30 or 50 out of 100 is by doing this. Because what we need to do is we need to make sure that 9 times out of 10 are going to be the ones that were designed intentionally based off of data that the market was saying this is going to work. So what exactly does this mean? This means that we're looking for clear indicators that are telling us that this product idea is going to be a success before it actually sells. And so business in a nutshell is a mix of doing something that you enjoy doing, right? Picking a product type that you like, but it's also a balance of also what does the market actually want to buy? And when one side of the balance is off-centered, this is where turbulence happens in business. So on one side, if you're making only things that you like, and on that balance field, this is leveled a lot more heavy than what the actual market wants, then that means you run the risk of making a lot of products that don't actually get sold because what you like is not a big enough data sample that says that the market likes it. Where on the reverse side of this, if you're only focused on making money, and not actually doing something you enjoy, you can experience burnout, right? And actually end up hating what you're doing. So you do need to be somewhat spiritually or emotionally connected to what you're doing, unless money is really only your end goal. But normally in business, money alone isn't a big enough motivator for you to stay in it for the long run to be successful for many years to come. Maybe a year or two, but then the burnout usually comes and you get bored and quit. So in business, you're looking for a balance between what do I like selling and doing and what does the market actually want? So how do we actually find this? So there's 2 ways that I'm going to go about validating demand. So step number 1 is that you're going to type in a keyword that is going to be a core keyword in your listing. So a keyword product fit word that is going to match what the Etsy buyer is going to be looking for. So funny fall shirt. I'm going to type in funny fall shirt here in Profitry in their product finder, but I'm also going to do it parallel inside of Etsy's own search because Etsy search and Profitry product finder search are going to give you 2 different results. So it's just good to look at both. So I'm going to do funny fall shirt. Okay. And so let's just start inside of Profitry first. Funny fall shirt. Let's start here. And so that is step number 1 is actually searching for that keyword product fit word. Step number 2 is we want to obviously see who is at the top. So what listings are actually getting the most demand, selling the most units. So I personally like coming in here and filtering it by only popular in the last 24 hours. So it's only going to show me the top listings that are making sales in the last 24 hours. Okay, cool. So it's showing me all of these top sellers. So 8 sold in the last 24 hours, 2 sold in the last 24 hours, 11 sold in the last 24 hours. And so now after we typed in our keyword, sorted it by the most in demand. Then step number 3 is that we need to find a direct competitor. So this is where people make the most mistakes. A direct competitor is somebody that is competing for the exact click as you. So if you're selling, you're going to want to find not only a funny fall shirt, but if there's something even more specific about this shirt, then you are going to want to make sure that it's going one-to-one with you. So I'm going to type in here that that keyword, funny fall pumpkin shirt, and Profit Tree is going to find all of the listings that have these keywords in the title. But this, again, could be a digital download if someone's selling digital download art, right? So a lot of these are digital downloads. So we're going to come in here, we're going to put those filters on it, and then we're going to come and select the listing type to physical. And then we are going to save that filter and let it find those results. So now your results inside of Product Finder are more targeted to your exact filter options, right? So now we have a list of high demand products that are actually physical goods. Now, keep in mind, there's even more filters here, right? You can filter by the minimum price point, right? Monthly sales, all of that stuff. Now, again, this is our Product Finder, but there's also Etsy Radar here, which is where you're going to actually search on the Etsy platform. So we're going to show you that here in 1 second. So after you find something that's directly competing for that same click as you because it's funny and it has a pumpkin, you would want to figure out what parallel space could you actually design this in. So personally, I like going to ChatGPT and creating a chat. So I do not want to copy this listing, but give me ideas that I could design a shirt for with the same impact of funny and pumpkin or a t-shirt design. Now that we know that we're directly competing with them, we want to come up with our own ideas. So it gave us back some cool ideas here. So pumpkin as an emoji, pumpkin arcade style, but a different game. So like a parallel. So instead of Pac-Man, it could be another arcade vibe like Tetris or Space Invader. So it's still like pretty popular, but it's just not copying exactly. Pumpkin as a mouthy planet. So other games could be like Pumpkin Donkey Kong, Pumpkin Mario Bros, right? Stuff like that kind of resembles it, but it's not personally trademarking it or just completely ripping their design. But the overall concept stays the same and has that same sort of impact. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it from an Etsy search page because Etsy search might show you some different ideas, right? So I'm going to come in here, and a little hack here is I'm going to go filter. I'm going to sort it by star seller, and then I'm going to take out the word star here, and I'm going to put the word best seller. So the page is automatically going to sort by badges. Now, eventually Etsy Radar, so the Chrome extension version of this is actually going to end up having its own filter system, but right now it's just easier to use the filter that Etsy has. So once it starts filtering here, we're going to do the same thing to see if we can come up with any more ideas. All right, so as you can see here, we have another one, 27 sold in the last 24 hours, 3 sold in the last 24 hours, right? Really, really hot traffic here. So let's just see what this one is. And this one is not with a pumpkin. So let's go back, but still a really, really cool concept. Most likely something you can make with AI. And like that witches one, like it's not a direct competitor, I would say, because it's specific to the keyword pumpkin, but it still could be a really good product idea. Here's one that sold 2 times in the last 24 hours. So these are really, really just simple shirts as well. And I like this because it shows more than one shirt in a listing, so that incentivizes a group sales, right? And so this is also something that you can probably just design very easily in Canva with AI and throw it on a shirt. So after you do your research like this, so why is this so important? The reason why is because if you don't have some sort of data, and again, this isn't mean you're going out and copying. Actually, I recommend you not copying at all. But without you getting data on what the market actually wants, you don't really have a North Star on what the trends are, what the in-trend mock-ups look like for that holiday category, niche, etc. When you're looking at this, you want to say, okay, what is their actual value offering? What are their mock-ups that they're using? What kind of lighting do they have? What price points are they selling at, right? And that is data that you are collecting that's guiding your decisions on every moment of truth that a listing has, which is videos, images, price, title tags, descriptions, variation options, right? Attributes. You want to meet or beat every moment of truth that you have. And you can do that without data, but you're just running the risk of, as you're filtering in that listing ecosystem that we talked about before, right? If only 10 out of 100 sell, right? You're not setting up your best case scenario of turning that 10 into 20 into 30 because you're not actually looking at the market first. And so you kind of want to do this quick research every single time before you have a product idea, right? If you have a specific idea for a holiday dog shirt, let's see what the specific specific ones are selling for a holiday dog shirt, right? So you can use some of those concepts as your North Star to meet or compete with what the actual market wants. Guys, I have a link in the description for you to try out Profitry. There is a free plan, so you can begin using it today. I hope you enjoyed this video.